The Midnight Market. The scanner beeped its warning for the third time, but Maya Rodriguez pressed her thumb harder against the reader until it finally flickered green, granting her access to the Umbra district. You really shouldn't be doing this, she whispered to herself, pulling her cloak tighter as she slipped through the checkpoint. The authorities had been clear, humans were forbidden from entering the alien quarters after dark. Treaties and diplomatic agreements meant nothing when ancient prejudices ran deep. But Maya hadn't spent 6 years studying xenoarchaeology at the academy just to follow rules that made no sense. Somewhere in this maze of otherworldly streets existed an artifact that could prove her theory, that humans and the native species of Nexus Prime shared more than just this planet, they shared a common origin. The alley twisted like a living thing, walls pulsing with bioluminescent patterns that shifted from cobalt to amber. The air itself felt different here, charged with an energy that made her skin hum. She could taste copper on her tongue, smell something like cinnamon mixed with ozone, every sense heightened as she ventured deeper. The marketplace materialized gradually, first as distant music that sounded like wind chimes playing backwards, then as shadows that moved with too much grace to be human. Finally, she rounded a corner and stopped breathing. Stalls stretched in impossible directions, their geometry defying normal space. Vendors with elongated limbs and skin that reflected starlight called out in musical languages. They sold things that shouldn't exist, bottles containing captured lightning, fabrics woven from pure sound, flowers that bloomed in reverse. Maya kept her head down, trying to blend in despite her obviously human frame. Most of the aliens ignored her, too absorbed in their transactions, but she felt eyes on her, watching, waiting. Then she saw the stall. It stood slightly apart from the others, draped in silk that seemed to contain actual constellations, drifting slowly across the fabric. Behind the counter stood a woman who made Maya's heart forget its rhythm. Her skin held the soft purple glow of twilight, shifting between violet and lavender with each movement. Long dark hair cascaded down her back, shot through with silver strands that moved like living metal. When she turned, her eyes met Maya's, deep pools of amethyst that held entire galaxies. The alien woman smiled, and the gesture was both familiar and utterly foreign. Maya found herself walking forward without conscious decision, drawn by something she couldn't name. The crowd seemed to part naturally, creating a path between them. "You're far from where you're supposed to be," the purple-skinned woman said, her voice like silk over steel. "Humans rarely venture here, and never alone at this hour." "I'm looking for something," Maya managed, her voice barely audible over the pounding of her own heart. The woman tilted her head, sending ripples of silver through her hair. "Perhaps what you seek is not what you need to find." She extended one elegant hand, fingers adorned with rings containing miniature nebulae. "I am Seraphine. If you can't stop staring, maybe you should come closer." The invitation hung between them, electric with possibility. Maya knew she should walk away, return to the human sector, file her reports like a good researcher. Instead, she stepped forward and placed her hand in Seraphine's. The contact sent warmth flooding up her arm, and Seraphine's eyes widened with something like surprise. "Interesting," Seraphine murmured, her thumb tracing patterns on Maya's wrist. "Very interesting indeed." The Hidden Sanctuary. Seraphine's shop existed in a space that shouldn't be possible. The doorway appeared solid until she pressed her palm against it, causing the surface to ripple like disturbed water. "Don't be afraid," she said, glancing back at Maya with those cosmic eyes. "This won't hurt." Maya stepped through and felt reality bend around her. For a moment she was everywhere and nowhere, then her feet found solid ground in a room that defied every law of physics she'd ever studied. The walls curved impossibly upward, displaying artifacts that seemed to exist in multiple states simultaneously, solid and liquid, present and absent, ancient and newly formed. "Welcome to my sanctuary," Seraphine said, moving through the space with fluid grace. "Each piece here tells a story of connection." She touched a crystalline sculpture that sang at her contact, notes that Maya felt in her bones rather than heard. "This one recorded the first meeting between my people and the Wanderers 200 years ago." Maya wandered closer to an ornate table where two glasses materialized, filled with liquid that swirled like captured northern lights. "Star wine," Seraphine offered, lifting one glass, "distilled from solar flares. It won't harm you, though you might see colors that don't exist in your spectrum." Their fingers brushed as Maya accepted the glass, and again that warmth spread through her, electric and intoxicating. Seraphine's breath caught slightly, as if she'd felt it too. The wine tasted like liquid moonlight, cool and sparkling on Maya's tongue, colors bloomed at the edges of her vision, shades she had no names for, beautiful and impossible. "Why did you really invite me here?" Maya asked, emboldened by the wine's gentle euphoria. Seraphine moved closer, close enough that Maya could see constellations literally dancing beneath her translucent purple skin, "because you looked at me not with fear or clinical fascination like most humans, but with recognition, as if you'd been searching for something you couldn't name." She raised her hand between them, palm facing outward. "Among my people, we greet through touch, sharing emotion directly, may I?" Maya nodded, unable to form words. Seraphine's palm pressed gently against hers, and suddenly Maya felt everything, curiosity flowing like golden threads, attraction burning like silver flames, and underneath it all, a loneliness that perfectly matched her own. Their fingers intertwined naturally, fitting together despite their different origins, Maya's human warmth against Seraphine's cooler, luminescent skin. "You feel it too," Seraphine breathed, stepping closer until barely inches separated them, "this pull between us." The room's lighting shifted to match their racing heartbeats, pulsing in rhythm. Seraphine's other hand rose to hover near Maya's cheek, not quite touching. "Your archaeology brought you here, but something else made you stay in that market, watching me." "Yes," Maya whispered, leaning into the almost touch, her skin tingling with anticipation. Seraphine's laughter was like wind chimes in a gentle breeze. "How strange that in all the universe, a human would be the one to make me break my own rules." Her thumb traced Maya's jawline. "Featherlight, my people have laws about this, about getting too close to your kind." "My people have the same laws," Maya admitted, her hand coming up to rest on Seraphine's waist, feeling the warmth beneath the fabric that seemed woven from nebula clouds. "Then we're both rule breakers," Seraphine murmured, closing the final distance between them. Their lips met softly at first, tentative, exploring, then deeper, as if something locked inside both of them suddenly opened. Maya tasted starlight and promises, felt the gentle pulse of Seraphine's energy mingling with her own. When they pulled apart, both breathing unsteadily, Seraphine rested her forehead against Maya's. "I've been alone for so long," she confessed, never finding anyone who understood. "Me too," Maya said, her fingers threading through Seraphine's silver-streaked hair, "always searching, never quite finding what I was looking for." "Until now," Seraphine finished, and kissed her again, slower this time, savoring every moment. Under twin moons. The rooftop garden bloomed with phosphorescent flowers that opened only under the light of Nexus Prime's twin moons. Seraphine had brought Maya here through secret passages, away from eyes that might question a human's presence in the sacred spaces of the Umbra district. They sat on a bench carved from a single piece of star stone, their bodies angled toward each other, knees touching. The city spread below them like an ocean of lights, but Maya found herself captivated only by the way moonlight played across Seraphine's purple features. "You asked why humans are forbidden here," Seraphine began, her voice soft with old pain. "A century ago, there was a war, not of weapons but of hearts. A human diplomat fell in love with our high priestess. When their relationship was discovered, it nearly shattered the peace between our worlds." She turned to face Maya fully, her eyes reflecting the double moonlight. "Since then, intimate contact between our species has been discouraged. The councils fear what happens when beings who experience emotion so differently try to connect." Maya's hand found Seraphine's on the bench between them. "But you don't fear it?" "No," Seraphine admitted, her fingers tightening around Maya's. "I fear the opposite, letting fear keep us from something extraordinary." "I have my own confession," Maya said, her thumb tracing patterns on Seraphine's wrist. "The artifact I'm searching for, it supposedly shows the origin point of both our species. Some believe humans and your people share an ancient connection, that we're meant to find each other again." Seraphine shifted closer, her free hand rising to cup Maya's face. "Perhaps we already have." The space between them dissolved, their lips met in a kiss that felt like coming home to a place neither had been before. Maya's hand slid into Seraphine's hair, pulling her closer, feeling the silky texture mixed with those living silver strands. Seraphine's fingers traced down Maya's spine, sending shivers through her entire body. "Your skin is so warm," she murmured against Maya's lips, "like captured sunlight." "And yours," Maya breathed, her hands exploring the curves of Seraphine's shoulders, her back, feels like cool silk and electricity. They kissed again, deeper now, more urgent. Seraphine's hand slipped beneath Maya's shirt, fingers splaying across her ribs. Maya gasped at the contact, at the way Seraphine's touch seemed to resonate through her entire being. "I want to show you something," Seraphine whispered, pulling back just enough to meet Maya's eyes, "something no human has ever seen." She stood, extending her hand. Maya took it without hesitation, letting Seraphine guide her to a section of the garden where the flowers grew in spiraling patterns. In the center lay a small pool, its surface perfectly still and glowing with inner light. "This is a reflection pool," Seraphine explained, her voice reverent. "It shows us what our hearts truly desire, what we're meant to find." They knelt at the edge together, hands still intertwined. As they gazed into the water, images began to form, not of artifacts or discoveries, but of themselves, together, entwined, connected in ways that transcended species and law. "It's showing us," Maya whispered, wonder in her voice. "Yes," Seraphine said, turning to face her, "it's showing us the truth." She cupped Maya's face in both hands. "I know we've only just met, I know this breaks every rule we were raised with, but I also know I've never felt anything as right as this." Maya pulled Seraphine into her lap, their bodies fitting perfectly together. "Then let's stop talking about rules," she murmured, her hands sliding under the fabric that draped Seraphine's form. Seraphine's skin glowed brighter under Maya's touch, patterns of constellations appearing along her shoulders and collarbone like a map of stars. Maya traced them with her lips, feeling Seraphine shiver and arch against her. "Maya," Seraphine breathed, her voice thick with desire, "are you sure?" "I've never been more sure of anything," Maya answered, claiming Seraphine's mouth in a kiss that left no room for doubt. They moved together under the twin moons, learning each other's bodies, discovering that despite their differences, desire spoke a universal language. Seraphine's cool skin warmed under Maya's touch, and Maya felt herself ignite under Seraphine's exploring hands. When they finally pulled apart, both breathing hard, Seraphine rested her head on Maya's shoulder. "Your colleagues will worry if you don't return." "Let them worry," Maya said, holding her closer. "I've found something worth more than any artifact." The bonding pool. The sacred temple existed in the deepest heart of the Umbra district, hidden behind veils of light that only opened for those truly connected. Seraphine led Maya through archways of living crystal that hummed with ancient power. "No human has ever entered here," Seraphine whispered, her hand warm in Maya's, "but the temple itself called for you. Listen." Maya heard it then, a harmonious melody that seemed to recognize her presence, welcoming rather than rejecting. The trees here grew in impossible spirals, their leaves shimmering with memories of every couple who had pledged themselves beneath their branches. In the center lay a pool of liquid starlight, its surface perfectly still. Ancient symbols glowed beneath the water, pulsing with each of their heartbeats. "This is the confluence," Seraphine explained, her voice reverent. "When two beings enter together, their consciousness temporarily merges. They see through each other's eyes, feel through each other's hearts. It's the most intimate thing my people can share." She turned to Maya, vulnerability clear in her amethyst eyes. "I want to share it with you." Maya's breath caught. "What if we're too different?" Seraphine silenced her with a gentle finger to her lips. "Then we'll discover that together." They undressed slowly, helping each other with unfamiliar clasps and fabric, their touches growing bolder as clothing fell away. Seraphine's purple skin glowed brighter in the temple's ethereal light, constellation patterns trailing down her body. Hand in hand, they stepped into the pool. The liquid starlight was warm, tingling against their skin like champagne bubbles made of pure energy. As they moved deeper, standing face to face in the center, the pool began to glow brighter. "Close your eyes," Seraphine murmured, pulling Maya against her, "and open your mind." Their lips met as the confluence activated. Suddenly Maya wasn't just herself, she was Seraphine too, feeling the depth of the alien woman's love, her fear, her hope. She experienced the world through Seraphine's senses, saw colors beyond human perception, felt emotions that had no names in any earth language. And through it all, she felt Seraphine experiencing her in return, her passion, her wonder, her complete surrender to this moment. They moved together in the pool, bodies pressed close, lost in the dual sensation of touching and being touched, of giving and receiving simultaneously, every caress echoed between them, amplified by their merged consciousness. "I see it now," Maya gasped, images flooding her mind, "the truth about our species." "Yes," Seraphine breathed, her hands exploring Maya's body as Maya explored hers, "we were never meant to be separate." They made love in the sacred pool, their merged consciousness making every touch infinite, every kiss contained universes. When they finally emerged, wrapped in each other's arms, they knew nothing would ever be the same. "No matter what happens," Seraphine whispered, "we're bonded now, forever." "Forever," Maya promised, sealing it with a kiss. Dawn of a new era. The council chamber materialized around them like a storm of light and sound. One moment Maya and Seraphine had been lying entwined in Seraphine's sanctuary, the next, transport beams had pulled them into the vast governmental complex. "You violated the separation accords," the Stellarian elder proclaimed, her ancient eyes fixed on Seraphine, "bringing a human to the sacred temple, performing the confluence ritual. These acts could reignite old conflicts." The human ambassador, Chen, looked equally grave. "Rodriguez, your actions have jeopardized our entire archaeological program, you were explicitly warned." Maya stepped forward, her hand finding Seraphine's despite the disapproving stares. "With respect, what we've discovered changes everything." She activated her data pad, displaying the star map, now pulsing with new information unlocked by their bond. "The confluence didn't just connect us," Seraphine added, her voice strong, "it activated something dormant in both our genetic codes. The map shows the truth, humans and my people aren't separate species, we're divergent branches of the same ancestral tree." The chamber erupted in whispers. "Our connection isn't an anomaly," Maya continued, squeezing Seraphine's hand, "it's a return to what we were always meant to be. The old war happened because people feared this truth, but we can't let fear dictate our future." "What of consequences?" the elder demanded, "your careers, your identities." Seraphine pulled Maya closer. "I choose love over fear, I choose her over any position, if that means exile, we face it together." "And I choose her," Maya echoed, turning to face Seraphine fully. "In the temple, I saw through your eyes, felt through your heart. Home isn't a place or a species, it's the person who makes your soul complete." They kissed in front of both councils, defiance and declaration in one. When they parted, the elder's expression had softened. "Perhaps it's time to rewrite the accords. Will you be the bridge between our worlds?" Ambassador Chen nodded slowly. "A joint program, with you both as leads, unprecedented, but then again, so are you." As the councils deliberated, Maya and Seraphine stood together, foreheads touching. "No regrets," Seraphine whispered. "Never," Maya promised, as dawn broke through the windows, painting their unified silhouette in gold. The end.